Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda, Radhe Radha. कलियुग पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की, अनंतराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Welcome all of you for the Sunday Feast lecture this evening. Please repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'm going to recite the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam and then we will have a discussion on that. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेषभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. The translation of the verse goes as follows. O my Lord Sri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Sri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge into the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by the illusory representations of water seen in fire or land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Sri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. I had given a topic for this evening as baby steps to blissful love of God. So, what are the baby steps we will discuss today? First of all, I offer my respects to His Holiness Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj, and also His Grace Hansarupa Prabhu and Rai Ram Prabhu and many other senior devotees here at ISKCON Brooklyn. I get great inspiration coming to this temple. I have come a few times before on other days other than Sunday. And the morning programs are very vibrant here. And Hansarupa Prabhu is such a beautiful leader, adopting the mood of a servant of the servant. Yeah, he teaches by his own example. And this temple is like a magnet attracting so many devotees to come and be a part of the service of Shri Shri Radha Govinda. So I thank all the organizers for offering me an opportunity to glorify Lord Krishna on this Sunday evening. When we talk about baby steps to blissful love of God, even before we enter this subject, there is a need for a little discussion about the topic of God itself. When we talk about God, most people in the world think that God is one who is behind the clouds, ready to punish you for the evil. And that kind of picture of God is often hated by people. Some people think they know better than that understanding is God is generator, operator, destroyer, GOD. That's God's role, they think. But actually, what is God's exact role in the true sense of the term is explained in the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Especially 1, 2, 3. These 3 verses are very important in Srimad Bhagavatam. God is the topmost reciprocator of love, which is because of which he is called as Akhila Rasamrita Murti. That's the name used. Akhila means all. Rasa means a sweet mellow of love that exists between two people, especially between the living beings and the Supreme Lord. That is called Rasa. Akhila Rasa. Amrita means that is undying relationship. Srila Prabhupada says, if you make Krishna your son, that son will never die. If you make Krishna your lover, that lover will never die. If you make Krishna your friend, that friend will never die. Because you also eternally are spirit, you will also not die, he will also not die, so the relationship will be eternal, everlasting. Otherwise, in this world, we all make relationships with our near and dear ones, and when we lose them, we become broken-hearted. Like, for example, my mother and father passed away in 2017. So my father was 84, my mother was 80. So when they passed away, I have 3 sisters. The youngest one was very deeply affected. She was sobbing for a long time. So I asked her, your father is 84, so how long you want him to live? Till 90? I asked her. No, even more, she said. 100? She said. No, even more than that. How much, 500? Because in this world, the bodies are perishable, material bodies. But the spirit soul is an imperishable phenomenon. The spirit soul cannot be cut with scissors, cannot be burned by fire, cannot be moistened by water, cannot be dried by air, Lord Krishna says. So I pacified her and told her that, he has lived a complete life now. He was a very nice, pious and religious man, and he was staying next to the ISKCON temple, hearing the holy names of the Lord. Many sannyasis came and did kirtan for him. Now he will go to a body where he will continue his devotional service nicely. You have nothing to worry. So you will see in this world, our mother and father are local mother and father. But Radha Govind is global mother and father. So when we forget global mother and father, we are awarded a local mother and father. And then every life you change one local mother, father to second and third and fourth and fifth. We keep hopping and jumping, changing our situation. So, but when we come to the spiritual platform where we meet the Supreme Lord, eternal Lord, our relationship will be eternal also. The soul and God and the relationship between the two. That's a very loving relationship. Now, far from this understanding of Lord being a reciprocator of love, most people in the world think that I have to attain God for getting rid of all the sufferings. In this world, there are a lot of sufferings. Let me put a full stop to all these sufferings and go to the stage of something like nirvana or go to the stage of peace. Shanti, shanti, shanti. Most people think that is a very great attainment. Of course, you all know very well, in this world, many religious people, pious people, go to temples, mosques, and churches to pray to God for some material benefits. It's well known. So, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in our Sampradaya, he said there are 4 stages in which people approach God. Either out of fear, or out of desire, or out of duty, or out of love. These 4 are higher and higher levels. I will give you a little small illustration, you will appreciate this point. Once in India, I found a group of some 5, 6, 8th grade students. So I asked the students, why do you study so hard? They were studying for the examination. Why do you study so hard? One boy said, if I don't study and get good marks, my father will beat me up. Therefore, I have to study. He said, so that is out of fear he is studying. Then another fellow said, I am studying hard because my father has promised me, if I get a first rank, he'll give me a bike. So the goal of my life is to get that Pulsar bike. That is the goal. So he had some motive behind his study. Another boy said, my parents have put me in the school and they want to see me grow. So it's my duty, I'm a student, I'm supposed to study. Otherwise it will be improper. I have taken so many things from them, it's my duty to study. But one boy said, my goal of studying hard now is to see a smile in my father's face. Because he always wanted to see me happy. He has done so much for me. I want to see him smile. That's my goal, he said. So I felt that amongst the 4 of them, whose relationship is thickest with the parents? Last one. Is it not true? Similarly, people go to temples. Some people think if you don't go to temple and pray to God, then you will be sent to hell and you will be punished. People fear. That is out of fear. Or there are people who go to temple to ask for something in return. That's very common. People go to God, give me this, give me that. People ask. Like you see, there is a great devotee of Lord Ram, whose name is Hanuman. Hanuman is a monkey, devotee of Lord Rama, great devotee. So, in some Ram temples, you will find a pillar in which there will be a deity of Hanuman. People circumambulate. So, in one of such temples, Ram temples, when I went, I saw one fellow, he was circumambulating, praying to Hanuman. I thought maybe a wonderful devotee. He is praying to Lord Rama's devotee, Hanuman, very nice. So after circumambulating 108 times, he offered obeisance and said, one of the Hanuman's name is Maruti. Oh, Maruti, please give me a Maruti car. He was telling. Oh, that's why you circumambulated 108 times? So, these are people who go to God with some desire, some motivation. But those who go to God out of love are very rare. Yeah. Like we have a temple in Pune, ISKCON NVCC. A lot of people come there. Sometimes you find school students come. Once I saw some little girls. These girls were like 2nd or 3rd standard, 2nd or 3rd grade children, dressed in white and blue uniform. So I saw some 7, 8 of them. They were all coming and standing in front of the altar with eyes closed, like this, very fervently they were praying. I was so happy. Immediately I went to the deity room and brought some special Mahaprasad for them. I gave them some rasagulla in the hand. All of you please take. They all took it. I asked these little girls, so you all come often to our temple, or is it the first time you are coming? Those little children told me, Uncle, you don't know, today is our exam day. Like that they say. Then I understood, oh, on exam day you have to come to pray to God because you have to get good marks naturally. So people have an understanding that you go to God and He is a Father. You ask whatever you want and He will provide you and you'll be happy. So these are very common type of approaches to God, we know. So some people think those who are jnanis, those who are yogis, they are far above the common populace because many of the jnanis aspire for moksha. The word moksha in Sanskrit means liberation from suffering. So those jnanis study Upanishads, they study Vedanta, and they do meditation, an extensive study of scriptures. So many people, most people in India also think the goal of life is moksha, liberation. But in our disciplic line of Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Sampradaya, Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says that there are two types of people in this world, exploiters and escapists. Two types of people. So to illustrate this point of exploiter and escapist, I will tell you an illustration which will make it very easy for you. There was one landlord in a village. He had a very big palace and a lot of estates, several hundreds of acres of land, hundreds of cows and bulls and everything. Very affluent man. So he had many servants working in his palace, big palace. So there was one servant, the landlord observed that whenever the landlord was in the palace, this servant will be always missing. But when the landlord is away, the servant will be very much in the palace because that is the time he will loot the things from the palace. So when the landlord would come, he will again be missing. And the landlord has to call him. Hey, call that fellow. I want him to do this. I want him to do that. So when landlord was in station, he was escapist. When the landlord was away, he was exploiter. Both these tendencies were in one person, you see. So in the same manner, there are two terms used in the scriptures, karmis and jnanis. Karmis are exploiters because they want to take the resources of this world and enjoy it for themselves. They are called karmis. And jnanis are called escapists because they want to get rid of the sufferings of this world and go to a place which is a brilliant light of Brahma Jyoti, as we call it. And they want to attain moksha and relax there. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. That's all they want. They say that don't suffer in this world. Look at these people. They are working hard. They are making money. They are trying to accumulate things. But these goods will not make you happy. We have experience. They say, Jnanis say that there are 5 P's that pinch you. You know, what are the 5 P's? Penny, money. When you accumulate more and more money, the very same money can be the cause of your suffering. Sometimes because of big money, people are murdered. Because of big money, even in rich families, there are quarrels. You know that. So they say, don't chase after penny. Don't chase after position. Because if you get big, big positions, others will envy you and pull your leg, and there will be fights. And don't chase after possessions. And don't chase after the pleasures. Pleasures means the enjoyments coming from eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Don't chase after those bodily pleasures. And don't chase after people, which means don't be attached to women or children or family or anything. So they say like this, don't chase after these 5 P's, because in this world, if you try to enjoy, you will suffer in this world. Therefore, you have to become detached and you go to Brahma Jyoti, where you get moksha and you become Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is their understanding. Actually, you will see, Srila Rupa Goswami said that bhukti, mukti, spruha, yavat, pishachi iti vartate. Like that he writes in the Nectar of Devotion. Which means, bhukti means those who want to enjoy this world. Mukti means those who want to go to Brahma Jyoti and relax there. Both of them he calls as Pishachi, he says, which means both of them are condemnable, he says. I will tell you the reason why. That will become very clear very soon for you. If you take the y-axis and x-axis in mathematics, we have the y-axis, the negative axis. Then we have 0, 0. Then we have positive axis. Right now, we all in this world are in negative axis now, where we are suffering. You all agree? Is there anybody who is a little doubtful whether we are suffering or not? We are suffering, correct? No? We have a lot of sufferings. There are bodily sufferings, mental sufferings, other living beings give us suffering. We also have suffering from natural calamities. Now the chill winter is going on. I was in Columbus a couple of days ago. Everywhere snow, full of snow everywhere. Everybody has to wear a sweater and everything. We know that. People in America think Indians must be happy. Their country is in equatorial zone. And Indians are thinking, India is so hot, Americans must be happy. Ultimately, nobody is happy. Both are thinking the other side of the mountain is green. They think like that. So, you will see negative axis means suffering. Now, we want to go to 0, 0, which is Shanti, Shanti, Shanti platform, which I told you now. Jnanis want to attain that. But in that 0, 0 platform, there are no emotions. You become emotionless, practically like a stoic. You stay there with no relationships, no exchange of love with anybody. You are all alone. It's like you are suspended in the brilliant light of Brahma Jyoti. But in the positive axis, you go to Vaikuntha planets where you meet the Lord face to face and you exchange love. So Lord Krishna tells Kunti Maharani, Namo akinchana vittaya nivritta gunavrittaye atma ramaya shantaya kaivalyapataye namaha. She's telling, my dear Krishna, you are controlled by the love of your devotees. Like Arjuna is Krishna's devotee. Because of love for Arjuna, Krishna became his charioteer. Therefore, his name came to be called as Partha Sarathi. You heard the name Partha Sarathi? Arjuna is Partha and Krishna became Sarathi. So it's called Partha Sarathi. Similarly, Lord Krishna loves Yashoda and agrees to be bound by her. In the November month, we celebrate Kartik Mass. In that, Yashoda one day on a Diwali day, she bound Krishna out of love. So Lord becomes controlled by the love of the devotees on the positive axis. And if one doesn't want to strike any relationship with the Lord, then you can be in 0, 0, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti in Brahma Jyoti. But there is no service there in Brahma Jyoti. In the material world, there is a lot of activity, but the activities are all painful. In 0, 0, there is no activity, but there is no service to Lord, nor you can see the Lord face to face. In positive activity, positive access, you can see the Lord, serve the Lord, love the Lord, exchange love. That is possible. So we can say suffering, peace, love. 3 platforms. Is that clear? For example, a very simple example. Say a husband and wife. Of course, when they are getting newly married, there is a lot of attraction, affection for each other when they are just newly married. But if you have to have the same affection 30, 40 years later, then both should have many good qualities like, for example, tolerance, humility, patience, kindness, courteousness, ability to listen more than speak and all that. We will need those qualities. Otherwise, you cannot live. Like I saw my mother and father. My father was 84, mother was 80. Even in that age, they were very happy with each other. They would be cracking jokes even at that time. And they would get up in the morning, do puja, they would do chanting. Because they studied the scriptures and they had a lot of good qualities they had acquired by dint of practicing the scriptures. So that's the positive axis, is love. And the negative axis is suffering, isn't it? Now husband and wife are quarreling. That quarrel is negative axis. And 0, 0 is you live in that room, I live in this room. Are they peaceful or not? Yeah, they are peaceful. Why they are peaceful? Because there is no connection, there is no quarrel. You are like suspended in Brahman. You have no quarrel. But then later on, after a week, they get bored. They say that, okay, now let us stay together without quarreling. and I will tolerate you, you tolerate me. Let us be happy with each other. And gradually they learn the art of staying together and learning to live with differences, we say now. And then you will find in the positive axis, they both are truly happy. Then there is a true love after that. So, like you saw, negative axis, 0, 0, positive axis. You can see that. Another example Prabhupada gives, when a person is having fever, say somebody has viral fever, 3 days you are taking on antibiotics. In the fever stage, you are not at all happy. It's not that you don't do activity. You are coughing, tongue is bitter. If you get up, you feel like sitting. If you sit, you feel like getting up. If you lie down, you want to sit. You are feeling very uneasy. Neither are you happy with your activities of coughing, mucus, and vomiting, nor are others happy with your activity. That is negative axis. But after taking antibiotics for 3 days, you gradually become relieved from all your fever. And then, is the fever gone? Yes, fever is gone, but it's like 0, 0 stage where you are in convalescent period. You know convalescent period? Convalescence means your fever is gone, but you can't be active. Your body is like a balloon without air. It's very, very weak. How many of you felt that after the viral fever is over? You have the experience of that? That is like 0, 0. Positive axis means maybe after 5 days after 4, 5 days are over, you get up and then you are very dynamic. You can play a game, you can play a game. You can also eat full plate of prasad. You agree? So that means negative axis is feverish stage, where tongue is bitter and body is hot and all that. 0, 0 is convalescent period. And the positive axis is a very healthy period. So in the negative axis also there is activity, but they're all painful. So material world is like that. Material world is like a place where people are all active in 3 gunas, goodness, passion, ignorance. But all are painful activities in this world. People hurt each other. When you go to Brahma Jyoti, that is like a convalescent period where you are free from your designations of I am this, I am that and all that. So you are relieved from the pangs of suffering of the material world. But there is no positive activity there. When you enter the spiritual world, there are spiritual activities, positive activities. If you read the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first verse, Lord Krishna says, Urdhvamulam adaha shakam ashwattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam veda savedavid. Here he is saying very amazing information to us. He says that roots are upwards, branches are downwards. Like that he is saying there is a tree. The tree's roots are upwards, branches are down. Such a tree is very, where will you see? In order to illustrate this analogy that Krishna gives, I will tell you a quick short story for you. Once upon a time, a queen, along with her friends, went to take a bath in a pond. So she left all her ornaments, like necklace and bangles and, a ring and a chain, gold chain, everything in the bank of the pond. And she and her friends were splashing the water and playing in the water for a while. When she came back, she wore all the ornaments, but one very important ornament was missing, which was the necklace. So she called her friends and asked, nobody could find out. She went to the king and complained, and she cried, oh, that was a very special necklace my friend has given me. And king said, don't worry, I'll purchase a new one for you. She said, I don't want a new one, I want that same necklace, because my friend will ask me, where is the one which I gave you? So she was very worried. So king then made an announcement that all over the country, anybody who would bring that necklace will be given $50,000, much more costly than the necklace also. So everybody was frantically searching for that necklace. One day it so happened, in the frontiers of that village, one man was hanging around one lake, one pond. He was hanging around one pond. So one sage was going in the morning, the sage was coming in the evening. So this fellow was near that pond since morning to night, morning to evening. So the sage asked him, why are you hanging around here? What's your problem? The man said, no, nothing. He was very hesitant to reveal. Then the sage understood by looking at his eyes. He is in anxiety. He asked him, what's your anxiety? Tell me. So the man said, see, I will show you one thing, but you promise me, first of all, that you will not ask for a share, he said. And the sage asked, what is it? The man showed in the water. See, here is the necklace of the queen. I found it out. But when I put my hand to take it, it's not coming in my hand. Huh? Somehow or other, I am only touching stones and pebbles. I'm not able to touch it. Sage said, you want this? Sage said, wait a minute, I'm bringing it. So he climbed up the tree and it was hanging on the treetop. So he brought it down and gave it to the man. The man was delighted to get that. Sage said, I don't want any share, but you have to sit and hear a lecture from me, he said. What is the lecture? He told the same shloka, Urdhamulam, Adha Shakam, which I said. He said, the spiritual world is like a original tree with original mango. And the material world is like an upside down tree, which also is seen in the reflection in the water. That also has a mango. But if you dive into the water to get the mango, you will only break your head, you will not get the mango. Because the original mango is not in the water, it is in the original tree. Similarly, in this world, all of us are chasing after happiness, but we only get misery. Because the real happiness is in the spiritual world. In this world, the sweet rice is mixed with stone particles. Therefore, it is little sweet. Halada tapakari mishra, like that Rupa Goswami says. It appears like happiness, but we suffer in this world. We all know that. In the spiritual world, you will get sweet rice without stone particles. There's only happiness in the spiritual world, or genuine happiness. So, from this story which I told you now, the necklace was in the tree, but he was searching in the water. So, the real happiness is in loving relationships with Krishna in the positive axis. In the negative axis also there is activity, but misery-producing activity. So, now, why going to moksha or attaining Brahma Jyoti is considered like Pishachi, he says? Because that kills the propensity for service to the Supreme Lord. When we want to exploit and enjoy this world or escape from this world and go to Brahman, it's like it kills the propensity to connect with the Lord and serve the Lord and see the Lord and exchange loving affection with Him. That is not possible. Therefore, it is considered like that. So, therefore, even Prabodhananda Saraswati, one great poet in our Sampradaya, says, Kaivalyam Narakayate, he says. Going to moksha is like a hell for me, he says. Why? Because I can't see Lord face to face. I can't serve Him. So, now there are people coming from all parts of the world and different people following different paths and different religions and different routes. So they may wonder what God is. So the beauty of Srila Prabhupada's purport is, Prabhupada said, there are material religions and there is a spiritual religion. The spiritual religion talks about all living beings as small part and parcels of one Supreme God. And that one Supreme God is the Father of all living beings. And we are all His parts and parcels. The whole world is one family called Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And the Supreme Lord is 14.4, Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Aham Bija Pradaha Pita. I am the seed-giving Father of all living beings. So what Srila Prabhupada did in his commentaries, he explains the characteristic of that Supreme Lord. To begin with, he says, He is the cause of all causes. In Gita, Lord Krishna says, He is the cause of all causes. For example, I am drinking milk. Thanks for the milk. I remember the cow, Go Mata Ki Jai, because I got the milk to drink. So how the cow is able to give milk? Because she is eating grass. How the grass came? Because of the rain shower. How did the rain shower come? From the clouds. How did the clouds come? Because the sun evaporated the water from the ocean and formed the clouds. And then you ask, where did the sun come from? Yat chakshuresha savita sakalagrahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha tejaha yasyagnyaya brahmati sampratakala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham vajami. Brahmaji says, yasyagnyaya, by order of Govinda, the sun is moving about and doing all the activities of giving light, giving heat, and making the clouds and all that. On whose order the sun is doing this? On Govinda's order. Therefore, Govinda is the cause of the sun. So, he is the ultimate cause. Like this, you will arrive at Lord Krishna as the ultimate cause. Anything you start with, say, I am eating a mango now. Oh, this mango is so delicious. Where did this mango come from? It came from a mango tree. How did it come in the mango tree? Because somebody put the mango seed from which the mango tree came. How did that seed come? It came from the previous mango tree. And you go on behind. Where did the original mango seed come from? Krishna says, Aham mango seed pradha pita. I am the giver of the mango seed. He says. So original seed is given by Lord Krishna. He says that in 14.4. Therefore, he is called cause of all causes. Scientists only research about the immediate cause and remote cause. They don't go to the ultimate cause. Lord is the ultimate cause. So this is one thing. Second thing Lord Krishna says about himself, he says, he is the essence of everything. Like you see this bulb, the essence of the bulb is to give light. The essence of the fan is to give wind, air. Everything has some essence. Like for example, if you have a fruit, what is the essence of a fruit? There should be fruit juice. Not that fruit looks very reddish. You bite it, there is no juice. Then the essence is missing in the fruit. So in this world, any object you take, the essence is very vital. If I purchase a drinking water bottle, if I ask one of you, please bring me a Bisleri bottle, for example. You come and give me an empty Bisleri bottle. I will say that, hey, I didn't want the bottle, I want water. Because the essence of Bisleri bottle is the water. Without that, it is good for nothing, isn't it? Similarly, between 7.7 and 7.13, Lord Krishna says, how he is I am the light of the sun. I am the light of the moon. I am the strength of the strong. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Like Einstein, Prabhupada said, the genius of the century, he didn't create his own brain. Krishna gave him the brain. Krishna says, Buddhir buddhimatam asmi. I gave Einstein the brain, because of which he became genius of century. Therefore, Prabhupada said, give God the Nobel Prize, he said, because he gave him the brain to invent so many things. Similarly, I am the strength of the strong, he says. If like Mike Tyson or Muhammad Ali, they have a lot of strength, naturally. But that strength is given by Krishna. If Krishna takes away my strength, then the hands will become paralyzed. I can't do anything. You know, Muhammad Ali, in his later years, when he got some Parkinson disease, something like that, you know, he could not even hold this Olympic torch. He had difficulty. He could not hold even a cup. So that means Krishna can give the strength and he can take away the strength also. He's a supplier of the strength. So he's the essence of everyone's strength. He's the essence of everyone's intelligence. So like this, he says, I'm the taste of water, I'm the light of the sun. Like that, he says many things like this. So essence of everything. So in this world, there are so many things in this world. The essence of it, all is Krishna. So once Prabhupada was talking to a group of scientists, he was telling, see, all these materials which you see in this world are created by Krishna. 7.4, Krishna says. 7.4, all material things are created by me. 7.5, he's talking about spiritual world in the Bhagavad Gita. So what are we doing? We take the building materials from Krishna and we make a building. Is it not true? Recently I was in one of the universities giving a program. I asked a simple question to students. See, a landlord is giving he makes you a gardener. He gives you a land, he gives you water, he gives you seeds, and then you grow the plants and then the flowers come out. Flowers belong to you or the landlord, I asked him. So one boy was arguing, all the flowers belong to me because I only grew them. I said, see, the landlord is giving you monthly salary for your gardener's job. When I said that, then all the other students said, okay, the flowers belong to landlord. Because he gives the motor, the hose pipe, the seeds, the land, everything he has given. I am only doing the job of growing the plants and then reaping the flowers. And I am getting my salary. But this boy was still confused. But I made the plants. I grew the plants. The flowers should belong to me. Then one girl was sitting next to him. He said, hey, how can you say that? He's giving you monthly salary. Keep quiet with that. She said. Then he understood. Yeah, correct. You are right, he said. In the same manner in this world, what is the salary God is giving all of us? He is giving us grains, fruits, cereals, spices, drinking water, wind. These are the salary we are taking from him. But what we are processing with our hands and legs and everything in this world, the materials for processing is given by him. The brain with which we process materials is given by him. The instruments like eyes, ears, nose, tongue I'm using, that is given by him. Therefore, whatever we all do belongs to whom? Yes? It belongs to Krishna. But Krishna is so kind, he says, you agree that it belongs to me, and then he gives it back to us. We can use it. So nothing belongs to us. So he is the cause of all causes. He is the essence of everything. And one more thing he says in 10th chapter of Gita, that he is the very best of everything. Amongst the bodies of water, pond, lake, ocean, which is the biggest? Ocean. So he says, I am the ocean, he says. Amongst all the mountains, which is the tallest mountain in the world? Mount Everest. So Krishna says that I am Mount Everest, because you cannot have a bigger mountain than that anymore now. So he is the best of everything. So he is the cause of all causes, he is the essence of everything, he is the very best of everything. So these three understandings are very vital. We begin with that. Similarly, in this first verse which I read now, here it is said that Lord's knowledge is, because he is absolute truth, his knowledge is also absolute. You know what's the meaning of absolute? Anvayat itaratascha arteshu abhignya swarat, which means, for example, if I ask any of you, how many hairs you have on your head? Can you say any of you here? Are you aware of it? This is not my example. This is Prabhupada. Prabhupada says this in one of the lectures. Can you say how many hairs you have? Of course, if you are shaven-headed, you can say I have no hair. But even brahmachari sannyasis, we have shika. Even in shika also, we don't know how many hairs. The number of hairs are less in this. Still, we don't know. But Krishna exactly knows each of us, in each of our head, how many hairs are present. He knows it. That much detail of the knowledge he has. Similarly, take a morsel of food, put in the mouth. As it goes down your throat, do you know what happens inside? Mixing with the gastric juice, converting it to blood, and then transported to different parts of the body. All these things happen, which we don't have much information of. Similarly, how many of you know your baby tooth fell and then permanent tooth came? Correct, no? So do you keep track of that? We don't even remember when the baby tooth fell, but he knows exactly for which living being, when should the baby tooth fall and when should the permanent tooth come. So that much information he has, that's the meaning of abhignya. Jna means to know, abhignya means fully knowing the truth. Anvayat itaratascha arteshu, abhignya means inside, outside, everything he knows about every jiva. He has track of our karmic account also. In millions of lives, he knows. Sometimes if there is a mole in your body, your mother may know. You have a mole here or in the hand. When we are at school, they ask us, we go and ask the mother, do you know, is there a mole in my body? They are asking. Just as mother knows, similarly, God knows about each and every one of us. Every minutest of the detail he knows about it. That's the meaning of abhignya. Another word is used here, swarat. Swarat means he is absolute controller. That doesn't mean we are not controllers. We are also controllers, but we are minute controllers. Take, for example, ants are crawling in a room eating some sweet. So you bring a hose pipe of water and you throw water in that room. All the ants will be washed away. So even if there is a leader ant controlling the other ants, he will also be washed away. So his controllership is finished by your hose pipe of water. But when demigods in the heaven, when they put a hose pipe of tsunami, then we get washed away in that. So they are better controllers than us. Better than ant is humans, better than humans are devatas. And amongst all the controllers, the supreme controller is Krishna, Swarat. That is the definition of God. That means no one can control him. No one is equal to him or greater than him. He's a supreme controller. So in this way, you will find the definition of God is explained in such a scientific manner here. Anybody from any part of the world can appreciate this non-sectarian and secular definition of God as the cause of all causes, the very best of everything, and the essence of everything, and being the absolute controller and absolutely knowledgeable personality. And we call God as omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. 3 words, right? Why? There is one verse which says that Vishnostu trini rupani purushakhyanyato viduhu ekastam mahatah srishtir dvitiyam anda samstitam tritiyam sarva bhutastam taniyatpa vimuchyate. That verse says, first, Lord Krishna expands as Mahavishnu and creates millions of universes. Second, he enters into each of those universes and then produces Brahma from his navel. And thirdly, he enters into each atom in that universe and each living being in that universe as super soul. In this way, there is not a single place where he is not present. That's the meaning of he is omniscient. Seated as super soul, he is omniscient, he is all-knowing. Just like in my body, I am the sole driver of this body. Similarly, for the whole universe, the soul of the universe is the second Vishnu. And the third Vishnu enters into each of the atoms and each of the living bodies' hearts. So he is present everywhere. In this way, you will see that nobody can misunderstand God. You will see that this is the meaning of God. He is present everywhere, in every atom, in every heart, and He is all-knowing, fully knowing. So with this beginning, this is actually the baby step, what I spoke to you today. Preliminary understanding of God, very basic understanding of God. Now, with this understanding, you can go to the third shloka, you will see, which is Nigamakalpatarorgalitam phalam shukamukat amritadrava yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. After understanding the greatness of God, then another time when I come, I will speak on the sweetness of God. The sweetness of God is very nectarian information given in Srimad Bhagavatam. He is a reciprocator of love with all His living beings. Such amazing reciprocator of love. Therefore, if you want to, first, this is the foundation what I spoke today. With that foundation, we can go on to understand the Lord of Vrindavan, Radha Govind, who resides in Vrindavan and reciprocates love with cows and calves and deers and peacocks and monkeys and gopas and gopis, with everybody. So when we understand that, my spiritual master, who came in search of truth to India at the age of 19, when he went to Vrindavan, he saw all the people having such a service attitude there in Vrindavan. Everybody was centered around this Supreme Lord Krishna, whom they treated as their own relative. They felt him like a friend or like a lover or like the beloved. So that understanding is the ultimate, very amazing understanding of spontaneous affection to the Lord. That understanding Rupa Goswami gives in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which Prabhupada called as a law book of ISKCON, he called it. So my request to all of you, some of you might have come for the first time today, you can have a copy of the Bhagavad Gita. You begin with that, and then you can go to Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a postgraduate study. And both are written by Prabhupada with nice explanations. Whatever I am speaking is tiny wisdom from his books. So, and I can assure you that you will get a very, very deep understanding of God. And your respect for God will shoot up to a great extent by understanding this very powerful, deep understanding. After that, you study the Srimad Bhagavatam, your affection for God, love for God will become a practical, experienceable phenomenon for you. And because I was told that 7:30 this class ends, I will not proceed further. I am thankful to all of you for your rapt attention. But I will make myself available here for another 15 minutes in case you wish to meet me personally and ask any questions. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yes, so prasadam will be served now downstairs. You can start to make the line here as soon as you exit the temple room to the left. And thank you all so much for attending. Hare Krishna.